unnecessarily Chandrababu Naidu, who has nothing here, he is coming and doing all this nonsense, for which he will be paying a very heavy price in the next election to go.
Who is your enemy? Is it KCR or is it Narendra Modi?
Both. National level Narendra Modi, state level KCR.
Both national parties have failed this country, both UPA and NDA, both Congress and BJP. So therefore, a like-minded coalition of regional parties coming together.
Who's your main enemy, Congress or BJP?
In terms of ideology, it is BJP. In terms of practicality, it is Congress.
हमें मत छेड़ो चाय वाले याद रख इतना बोलूंगा कि कान में से पीठ बहने लगेगा खून निकलेगा
अगर तेलंगाना में भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार बनती है तो मित्रों मैं आपसे कह सकता हूं ओबीसी को यहां से वैसे ही भागना पड़ेगा जैसे हैदराबाद से निजाम को भागने के लिए मजबूर होना पड़ा था।
Hello and a very warm welcome. I'm Rahul Kamal and you're watching a special edition of the Political Stock Exchange. Our focus on this broadcast on Telangana. Over the next 1 hour, we will do a deep dive on the latest trends emerging from the election in Telangana and also look at the X factors which could impact voting behavior come the 7th of December. Coming up on your screen first, the key X factors which could determine how voters in Telangana go out and cast their franchise. X factor number 1, impact of the Congress-TDP alliance on voting behavior. Remember, when a lot of our polling was originally done, the Congress was fighting by itself. The TDP was a fringe force fighting on the sidelines. You had the TRS as the dominating force in the state of Telangana. What is the impact of the Congress and Chandrababu Naidu's party coming together? X factor number 2, impact of communal polarization on the Telangana results. We're seeing a lot of chai wale ko itna bolunga that he'll have pus coming out of his ears. Isko bhaga denge, they'll be fleeing like the Nizams. Lot of back and forth, especially between the Ovaisis on the one side and BJP leaders like Yogi Adityanath and Amit Shah on the other. What impact will this have? Remember, a high percentage of Muslims in Telangana. Will this lead to communal polarization and what impact that will have on the voting? X factor number 3, impact of the social schemes of Chandrashekar Rao. Remember, he's been a very popular chief minister according to our political stock exchange data. So far, multiple social sector schemes winning him acclaim. Will that acclaim and popularity translate into positive votes on the 7th of December? And finally, X factor number 4, the factor that the opposition is pushing against the TRS, the impact of corruption charges against leaders of KCR's family. He's saying, the Congress is saying this, the BJP is saying this, that this is one family rule, that there's a lot of corruption and that the dream with which Telangana was started has come apart. Will this have an impact on voting behavior? I want to introduce you to our guests joining us on this broadcast. I'll start with our own political pundit, Manisha Priyam. With us also on this broadcast is Krishna Sagar Rao, representing the BJP in Telangana. We've got Nasir Hussain, he's a member of parliament of the Congress party. We've got Abid Rasool Khan, leader of the TRS. And we've got Lanka Dinka from the Telugu Desam party. So welcome to all our guests. Let's take the first set of data on our screen right now. This deals with the question on who people want in government in Telangana. Remember, this is not vote share. We're asking people to indicate whether they want to give the government another chance or they want this government to go. Here are the responses coming up on your screen. Who would you like to see in power in Telangana? Would you like to see this government voted back or would you like to vote it out? When this question was asked, in the end of October and the early part of November, 44% of the respondents said that they would like to give KCR another chance. A few weeks later, in the end of November and the initial part of December, that number has gone up to 48. So that's a plus 4% swing in favor of KCR. That is quite substantial. Remember, a lot of the extra traction generally comes from the undecided voters. Amongst the undecided, 4% more now indicating they'd like to give KCR another shot. On the question of whether the government should change, remember when we polled last in November, that figure was 34%. 34% of the respondents, roughly one-third, wanting the government to change. In December 2018, that figure is now up to 38. That's a gain of 4% for the forces that want the government out. As far as the undecided, don't know, can't say voters are concerned, this is crucial because this is where the swing may ultimately happen. Earlier, it was at 22% in November. Now in December, it's down to 14%. So 8% have made up their mind, 4 in favor of the government, 4 in favor of the opposition. That's broadly the way that it looks at this moment. I want to go across first and foremost on X factor number 1, which is the impact of the Congress-TDP alliance. I want to go across to Manisha Priyam first, because since the time the Congress and the TDP came together, these are parties that were traditionally very strong opponents. There was talk of how it won't be a factor, it won't make much of a difference. Then suddenly words started appearing in Telangana that it is making a difference, especially in the bordering districts of Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, where the TDP still has presence on the ground. It is making quite a difference. If you look net-net at the question on whether people want to give KCR another chance, it would seem that KCR and the TRS are home. But do you believe the Congress-TDP alliance could impact voting behavior come the 7th of December?
So the Congress-TDP alliance, the Mahakutami as it's being referred to, that is the most formidable opponent to KCR on the ground. Both the TDP and the Congress have a presence here. Remember, Chandrababu Naidu was an immense worker in this part. He's remembered for what he's done, and there are followers of his, and also a very solid vote block of the Reddys. Both the Chandrababu Naidu factor and the Reddy factor still unites the whole Andhra Pradesh. The Telangana and the Andhra areas are united by interests of the Reddys, who are very, very powerful landed as well as capital-based social class across, and they are very strongly present in the Congress party in Telangana. So in a sense, I would say that both the Congress party and the Telugu Desam party represent the only opposition to KCR. So the one party that's not there in the opposition is the BJP, that had hoped to be able to open its Telangana account. It's not there either with KCR or on the other side. So yes, this opposition does make a solid presence on the ground. The question really is whether it can defeat a KCR who's doing so well with his social sector schemes, and who's seen as the person who's founded the new state of Telangana and seems quite ballistic in maintaining his equidistance with both the BJP and the Congress. So the pitch of KCR in terms of his pro-incumbency, his claim to governance, and his equidistance from the BJP and the Congress. On the other side, a Mahakutami that does have the Congress in its own side. I think the battle lines are pitched on these dimensions and these contours. Very interesting battle. Let's see what happens.
Broadly speaking, this was a battle which KCR and the TRS were seen to have won quite easily. Since the Congress-TDP alliance came together, Telangana is now a closer fight. The TDP had residual support, especially amongst the Reddys, a lot in the bordering districts. But if the TDP was fighting by itself, it wouldn't have made much of an impact. Are you concerned that the coming together of the TDP and the Congress gives voters an alternative? They don't like the TRS. Earlier, they didn't really know where to go. But with the Congress and the TRS, Congress and the TDP together, they do have an alternate this time that they can look at.
Rahul, the point which I would like to make here is that TDP, with its ideology, totally divergent to the ideology of Congress, only coming together to try to defeat TRS and make an entry into Telangana, has been seen by the people as an act of deceit and an act which is equivalent to what the Britishers had done in India. And the people of Telangana have made up their minds that they will not let TDP enter Telangana through the back door. And with this, the Congress also has suffered because of their methodology and their trying to come in through a back door and trying to unseat a popular government and unseat a popular chief minister by these methods, which have been going on for the last many days. So I am of the opinion that the TDP and Congress alliance has worked in our favor, and the people are together for TRS, and they are solidly behind TRS, and they are going to vote for TRS
Now,
in numbers which will be unprecedented in the state.
Nasir Hussain, we've been seeing some reports from Telangana which suggest that there isn't perfect synergy between Congress and TDP workers on the ground. If there's a Congress leader, it's mostly for the Congress to fend for that leader. If it's a TDP leader, he's mostly having to fend for himself. And the reason for that is the decades of political acrimony, which can't suddenly be done away with because now the leaders have entered into an alliance. If you add up the vote share of the Congress and the TDP, it's about 40% from the 2014 polls, whereas the TRS had only 34. But elections aren't quite as easy as that. Do you accept that the lack of chemistry on the ground, the decades of political rivalry, means that this won't be a perfect transfer of votes from the Congress to the TDP and from the TDP to the Congress, and that still gives KCR an edge in the battle for Telangana?
Rahul, I think any alliance in any state will not transfer votes in toto. What is more important is what is the agenda, what is the common minimum program, and why have they come together. That is what pitches any alliance against the incumbent government. That's what I think has happened in Telangana. I have been camping here for the past 20-25 days. What I feel here is the people who were fed up of the autocratic and the despotic rule of Mr. KCR, the people of Telangana had a vision for Telangana because even the Congress then had rightly felt that there was lots of backwardness, underdevelopment, both for the people and for the state, a lack of irrigation facilities, water supply, electricity, so on and so on. And this happens in bigger states where one area gets neglected over a period of time. So we thought a smaller state would definitely bring some sort of a relief to the people of that area. That's the reason why Telangana was created with the blessings of Mr. Sonia Gandhi and Dr. Manmohan Singh. But then we lost an election. Somebody else took it away. Somebody else hogged the limelight. And then we said it's fine. If the people are given a mandate, what is more important is not who is ruling. What is more important is whether the people get justice, whether the people get what they had envisioned when they were fighting for Telangana. But 4.5 years down the line, what we see...
TDP, are you concerned...
Rahul, can I complain?
One second. Lanka Dinkar, are you concerned that even though Rahul Gandhi and Chandrababu Naidu have been campaigning together, there isn't great synergy on the ground among TDP and Congress workers, given that the TDP was born out of revolt against the Congress, and there is a lot of acrimony, anti-Congressism, much more than anti-BJPism, if there was something like that, is ingrained in the blood of the TDP worker. And therefore, Chandrababu Naidu and Rahul Gandhi, for their politically opportunistic requirements, may come together, but that doesn't mean the workers on the ground are coming together in the same way.
As far as TDP birth is concerned, it is very clear that in order to protect the rights of the federal spirit of the states from the center, whether it is Congress or any party. At the time of our party formation, Congress is at the center. Whoever they are, if they act against the state government's interest and the state's interest, definitely we fight against those central governments. It was the history, it is happened, and it is happening right now also. That is one issue. And then come to the present scenario in Telangana. The synergy which created by the BJP, TDP and Congress together is invincible. We are going to cross 75 seats in the assembly elections on December 7th. The results will come on December 11th. Let me discuss on the day. We have very clear-cut majority. We will going to form people-friend government in Telangana. It is very clear that first 4 years, what happened with surplus budget Telangana was emerged. But where is the employment opportunity? How many government employment opportunities were created and filled? Vacancies were not filled. Where is the houses? Very attractive houses he has shown to build for the poor and needy people, for weaker section. But how many he completed? He touched 1 lakh houses, whereas the deficit state of Andhra Pradesh, which crossed almost 10 lakh houses for the poor and weaker section people. As far as BJP is concerned, BJP not implemented AP reorganization agencies both in Andhra Pradesh as well as Telangana. They miserably failed. But KCR is acting as hand in glove of the Narendra Modi and BJP. As per the BJP instruction, only he dissolved. After meeting the Prime Minister Narendra Modi, KCR, he dissolved his assembly. He went early election in order to reduce his anti-incumbency, not to face on 2019. That's why he went for early election.
Okay.
It is very clear on our part.
No, but the fact of the matter in Telangana at this time is that there are political forces that have ruled the United Andhra Pradesh for years. Ever since the TRS government came to power, they feel that their political sweepstakes have been taken away from them, and therefore they're itching for a chance to get back. The TDP-Congress alliance provides them that opportunity. It also presents Krishnasakar Rao for the BJP a challenge, wherein now the opposition seems to primarily be the Congress-TDP alliance, and the BJP, which was hoping to make some inroads into Telangana. I remember Amit Shah telling me that this is the one state that he thought he could win. Now, that seems very unlikely. When the question is asked, it's either the TRS or the Congress-TDP, the BJP being edged out in conversations.
Rahul, is that a question for me?
It is. Krishnasakar Rao.
Yeah. See,
that BJP in Telangana.
Not at all. Actually, we are fighting to win. And that's what we do in all the elections across the country. And it's indicative that we are fighting to win because we are contesting all the seats. Congress has already given up on 25 seats plus. They have already accepted the defeat. And that is why they are actually sharing the 25 seats with TDP, TJS and communists. See, Rahul, you have been covering so many elections. 1 plus 3 necessarily doesn't mean 4. It could be sometimes 0. And that's what's going to happen to the alliance of Congress, that they have axed their own feet. It's a suicidal move that they have brought in TDP out of the coffin, and they're trying to force TDP onto the people of Telangana, and Telangana people are going to reject them. And that is the compounding effect which will bury Congress forever in Telangana state. I foresee, I am no election analyst professionally, but I foresee a historic low, more than what they have got. I mean, lower than what they have got in 2014. Maybe I foresee about 10 to 15 seats maximum for the Congress alliance. And they're never an alternative. They're not an alternative across the country. They cannot be an alternative in Telangana. Telangana is not an island.
Okay, Lanka
BJP has a very
the
simple
TDP
pitch.
had 15 seats the last time.
Rahul.
You had about 15% of the vote. But the fact is that a lot of the a lot of the sentiment in Telangana is that the TDP is an anti-Telangana force. You never wanted Telangana to be created, given the hype around Telangana, the spirit and sentiment around Telangana. The TRS says you're an anti-Telangana force, and therefore they believe that your vote share is actually coming down.
It is absolutely wrong. In the 2009 election, after TDP gave letter for the Telangana support, TRS came forward to make alliance with the TDP. It is the history. History cannot be right off. It is one thing. And then come to the Krishnasakar Rao ji's comments. I am always telling that casting vote to the TRS is the casting vote to the BJP. Casting vote to the MIM is the casting vote to the BJP-led Narendra Modi. It is proven. What he is telling, BJP is nothing. Here BJP is no more. But he is telling that Congress and their alliance is losing, means that it is indirectly they are supporting TRS. What I am telling exactly, it is happening. They are not contesting for the sake of remove the TRS, and whatever the criticism they are making against KCR is only for the sake of split the vote of anti-incumbency only.
Okay.
This is the way in which they want to provide some assistance to the KCR.
Okay,
and TRS. It is the thing which it is just now his comments also revealing the fact.
Okay, I want to show our viewers now
happening?
who people would like to see as the next chief minister. Remember, there is KCR, but there is nobody else who has quite the same kind of stature in current day Telangana politics. So let's show you now, coming up on your screen first, and we'll compare this data from September to November. This is a PSE tracking data. In September, 43% of the respondents wanted K Chandrashekar Rao as chief minister once again. In November 2018, that's gone up to 46. So he's gained 3% extra support. Then there is Uttam Kumar Reddy of the Congress. He was at 18%. That's gone up now to 25. That's a 7% jump for the Congress's candidate Uttam Kumar Reddy. You've got G. Kishan Reddy of the BJP at 15, now at 16. That's a gain of only 1. Then you've got Kodandaram, who is an activist who's on the ground. He's quite popular, but he doesn't have much of a political formation of himself. From 6%, he's up at 7%. Then there is Asuddin Owaisi. He is where he is at 4%. Remember, his support very strong, but it's not as if that support is going up, but it's not coming down either. There are only 2% respondents who now say they don't know who they'd like to see as next chief minister. We interviewed K Chandrashekar Rao. I want to show you some excerpts from the campaign trail that my colleague Rajdeep Sardesai shot with current TRS leader, Telangana Chief Minister K Chandrashekar Rao.
हैदराबाद का नाम बदलो तो हर घर को 1 किलो सोना मिलेगा हैदराबाद में.
रिजर्वेशन से
बेवकूफी है ये. दिस इज व्हाट इज वोट बैंक पॉलिटिक्स. They want to play with Hindu vote bank politics and they blame others. This is what the silly approach of BJP, please.
Question of you tying up with the BJP either in Delhi or in Telangana, no question.
Question does not arise in my whole life. Neither I will tie up with BJP, nor I will tie up with Congress. Narendra Modi says I am the agent of Sonia Gandhi. And Rahul Gandhi says I am the B team of Narendra Modi. Then what is this rubbish? I said after 70 years of...
You said you are the agent of Telangana.
Yes, I am the agent of the people of Telangana. Neither I am the agent of Congress, nor I am the agent of BJP, and I have no reason to be an agent of either of them.
So I want to come now to X factor number 2, impact of communal polarization on voting behavior in Telangana. Now remember, and I want to show you some excerpts, Owaisi having a shot at the BJP leadership, Yogi Adityanath and Amit Shah hitting back really hard. Will all of this, because remember there's a part of the Muslim community who may feel that the Telangana government hasn't delivered, they may have considered moving towards the Congress. Will this polarization impact that? Remember, that's what both BJP and Owaisi both thrive on. The more the election gets polarized, the stronger their vote banks come together. How will this very shrill narrative impact elections in Telangana? Before that, let me show you some snatches of the kind of nastiness and we're seeing on the campaign trail.
अगर तेलंगाना में भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार बनती है तो मित्रों मैं आपसे कह सकता हूं ओबीसी को यहां से वैसे ही भागना पड़ेगा जैसे हैदराबाद से निजाम को भागने के लिए मजबूर होना पड़ा था.
बेचारे उत्तर प्रदेश के चीफ मिनिस्टर कह रहे हैं कि अगर तेलंगाना में बीजेपी की गवर्नमेंट बनेगी तो ओवैसी को भगा देंगे जिस तरह निजाम को भगाए थे. मैं इनको ये पूछ रहा हूं, ये भगाना, ये भगोड़ों की बात तुम कब से कर रहे हो? भगा देंगे? इनकी कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंसी में हर साल 150 बच्चे मरते हैं इंसेफेलाइटिस से. बच्चे मर रहे योगी. तुम्हारे गोरखपुर के दवाखाने में ऑक्सीजन नहीं है, तुमको वहां की फिक्र नहीं, तुम यहां आ रहे.
Okay, Sandeep Shastri is now joining us. Dr. Shastri, do you believe this communal polarization will have an impact on voting behavior in Telangana? We're seeing everybody call each other the B and the C team. But the fact is, if you look at Lok Sabha voting patterns, the TRS has bailed out the BJP government on about half a dozen occasions. Does that message go down, or do you believe that KCR has done enough to project himself as an anti-BJP, anti-Congress force?
Rahul, I think the communal polarization and the politics between the BJP and the Owaisi party, for me at least, it's a sideshow. The space that both the MIM and the BJP are trying to occupy reflects this fight that's going on between the two. But I think the voter of Telangana in general is looking at other issues. The fact that this is the first election in Telangana after the state was created, the sentiment of Telangana still being quite strong, seems to be a factor which is favoring the TRS in this election. And for me, this entire effort to polarize the voter and communal lines is something which is limited to certain pockets and reflects the larger politics in Telangana, which both the MIM and BJP want to play. And for me, it is a side story and not the main story.
Okay, if I show you, Dr. Shastri, the data from the 2014 elections, the TRS had about 34% of the vote share. The Congress and the TDP together, 25 plus 15 was 40% of the vote share, which technically speaking is 6% more than that of the TRS. Do you believe this alliance will be able to transfer votes? Can the Congress's votes transfer successfully to the TDP? Or do you believe that's going to be a very tough one on the 7th of December?
Rahul, we have always argued in the past that political arithmetic does not translate itself into electoral chemistry. Simply bringing these two numbers don't help. Let's keep two more factors in mind. The Congress was literally non-existent between 2014 and 18. They seem to have woken up once the election campaign began. And I think, have they lost time? I think is the important question. People still remember the TDP in Telangana as the party which fought against the creation of the Telangana state. Let's not lose out the importance of these two factors. I concede the point that once the campaign began, this alliance has picked up momentum, has picked up strength, and has legitimately poised itself as the number 2 group in Telangana. But have they done enough to challenge the TRS's capacity to be able to come back to power? I am not too sure.
कांग्रेस बीजेपी के खिलाफ लड़ रही थी तो MIM ने बीजेपी की मदद की, अपने कैंडिडेट्स खड़े किए। जब असम में कांग्रेस पार्टी बीजेपी के खिलाफ लड़ रही थी, MIM ने कांग्रेस पार्टी को हराने के लिए अपने कैंडिडेट खड़े किए। 5 साल KCR जी ने नरेंद्र मोदी जी की मदद की, पार्लियामेंट हाउस में मदद की।
ये नामदार, इसे यहां किसी ने उनको पटा दिया। क्या आप बता दो कि KCR जो है, ये TRS पार्टी जो है, वो बीजेपी की बी टीम है। एक ही चरित्र, एक ही आदत, एक ही तौर तरीके, एक ही सोच अगर किसी में है तो ये दो लोगों में है, कांग्रेस और TRS में।
So we're seeing these charges being flung around in the Telangana battlefield of the TRS being the B team of the BJP, of the AIMIM being the C team of the BJP. Manisha Priyam, is a lot of this just sound and fury you see on TV and on social media not impacting very much when it comes to voting behavior? Because ultimately, if you see Asuddin Owaisi's vote share and if you see his level of popularity, it is where it is. You know, he's playing to the gallery, there's a script, people listening to him like that script, they like to clap when he gives out dialogues from that script, and in the same way, you know, you can have these charges being leveled of B team and C team. Could they impact ultimately what happens on the 7th of December?
So as far as KCR is concerned, he about a year ago had started kind of moving himself a little away from seeming too close to the BJP. Last year, summer around June, there was a visit by Amit Shah ji to Hyderabad, and KCR had behaved as the king in the city. It was Amit Shah who was going to him for an alliance and as a leader of an alliance, of the bigger alliance party. But in Hyderabad, it was KCR who was holding sway. So there were indications that he was trying to assert himself on his home grounds and play this card of being a little distant from the BJP. So clearly he had many gains electorally to be made by distancing himself from the BJP. The Congress, in any case, he had to distance himself for reasons of electoral politics. Now, as far as the MIM is concerned, the Yogi Adityanath OIC battle is something on which the Election Commission should have taken note. A lot of it should have been something that should have been expunged, and censure motions should have been moved. The Election Commission should have been playing the rightful law and order big brother role that it is supposed to play in a statutory sort of manner. But yes, this kind of tone that was, the pitch that was raised, especially between Yogi Adityanath and OIC's interchanges, that helps the AIM consolidate its voter base. So as far as the question of KCR distancing himself from the BJP is concerned, that's a process that has been visible on the ground for over a year now. But this last minute oral diatribes, very bad barbs that have gone on between Yogi Adityanath and OIC help the MIM definitely consolidate its
I want
vote
to show you
base.
just one
it cannot
excerpt
go
of
more
what
up than what it already
Akbaruddin
is.
Owaisi said. We hear from him mostly during elections, otherwise he's not so much in the public eye. And some of what he said is downright nasty, ugly, vituperative. The Election Commission should really have come down. It's a surprise that he's given this carte blanche to go out and say, spew whatever venom he wants, and nobody's really pulling him up.
आज हमसे मुकाबला, हम क्या करें? अरे तुमने क्या किया? बात करें कि चाय, 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 चाय। हर वक्त वही डिमोनेटाइजेशन, ये चाय, वो चाय, कड़क चाय, नरम चाय, 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 चाय की केतली, चाय का पानी, चाय की पत्ती, चाय का चूल्हा, चाय, चाय, चाय। ये वजीर आजम है या क्या है?
There are portions which were so nasty that our producers had to leave them out, where he's saying that, I'll keep talking about chai, chai, chai so much that there'll be stuff coming out of Modi's ear. Now, that's the kind of language that really ought not to be used. I want to go across to the TRS leader on the broadcast, Abid Rasool Khan, on the question of the AIMIM playing to the gallery in a bid to consolidate the Muslim vote so that it doesn't look towards the Congress-TDP alliance, and that at some level the message that's going out, or at least that's being sent out, is that this is happening as part of a sideshow which is rather orchestrated. They're playing to a script that they've already worked out.
Rahul, first of all, the Muslims are citizens of the state. They have been receiving the benefits of the welfare measures. They have been receiving the respect required. They had a very good time in TRS for the 4.5 years. There are no issues of communal riots, no issues of mob lynching, no issues of cow slaughter, attacks and all these. They had good education. They have got respect. They have got socio-economic development, and they are with TRS very solidly. And as far as the point of AIM, Majlis Ittihadul Muslimin is concerned, the BJP wants to instigate it, wants to come and create a rift, wants to come and talk in a manner which will divide the community and they will get benefit. Now, BJP, being a national party ruling the country, should show constraint in its language. Its leaders should speak on the issues of development, on dividing the party. You have Subramanian Swamy coming to Hyderabad and saying that I will work toward dividing the Muslims into sects so that I can easily catch their votes. If this is the mind frame, and then he speaks against reservations to the extent that he says the reservation for Dalits are also not required, the reservation for BCs are not required, reservation for Muslims are not required. So when these type of talk is being done, this is the election, the Muslims, the Dalits and the backward classes, they are solidly backing TRS because...
Dr. Nasir Hussain, does this work against the Congress's interest? You'd like the Muslims to vote on whether the last 5 years have helped them and their position in society. Instead, we're seeing Asuddin Owaisi, Akbaruddin Owaisi, and on the other side, the likes of Yogi Adityanath from the BJP polarize the voters on the ground, which means that a fear psychosis is sought to be created, and voters who may have otherwise thought about coming to the Congress then say at least the AIMIM strongly takes care of our interests and therefore we stick to them, which really is advantage TRS. because the AIMIM and the TRS are in an alliance?
Rahul, I think Congress doesn't yawn for this vote or that vote. Congress seeks vote from every section of the society. Let us be very, very clear on that. Second thing is, on a particular vote, whether it's a Dalit vote or the Muslim vote or the minority vote, the other minority vote and all, I think the track record of any government becomes very important before the people step out to vote. And especially on this count, I think the TRS has failed completely on a number of issues, especially on the promises that they had made to the people from the minority community, on their protection and security, on the concern, on the issues that concerns the minority community, whether it is the reservation, whether it is giving judicial power to the work board, whether it is the Makkah Masjid, the blast case, whether it is the Allied encounter, whether the 90% of the minority institutions getting shut because non-payment, non-reimbursement of the fees, which was started by the Chandrashekar Reddy government. So these are a number of issues which concerns the minority community, and I think they understand. They understand that MIM and Yogi Adityanath, or MIM and the BJP are playing a match-fixing game. They understand whom Mr. OAC tried to help in the number of states where he tried to go and contest. I would just like to ask, I don't know, no one here from the MIM panel, but I would just like to ask them, why are they not contesting in their own state on all the seats? Why are they contesting only in 7 states? Here you contest only on 7 states, and you go to Uttar Pradesh, to Bihar, to Assam, to Bangalore, to Karnataka, to Maharashtra to contest. Obviously, there is an underhand dealing between the BJP and the MIM and a party here, TRS, which was supporting the BJP on a number of counts for the 4.5 years. Whether it's the President of India election, whether it's the Vice President of India election, whether it's the Deputy Chairman of the Rajya Sabha election, whether it is demonetization, GST, and number of other issues, the TRS has been with the BJP. The TRS has not questioned many of the anti-people policies of the BJP. And now, they seek the votes, and now, especially from the minority community, obviously, minority community has a right to vote whomever they want.
Sagar Rao,
but the point is now they are trying to polarize.
To this charge that this is a game that both parties are playing, the AIMIM on the one side, the BJP on its other. The more vitriol that's exchanged, the more consolidated the vote bank gets. And the opposition naturally hoping that voters see through this, that essentially Assuddin Owaisi is doing this as part of some kind of match fixing with the BJP. Respond to that Congress charge.
Completely a juvenile and ignorant charge, because I think MIM, as you know, Rahul, is a strange bedfellow. He swings both ways. He has been with Congress for the last 40 years. Now he's been with TRS. And tomorrow, you don't know, he can be with both of them. And we foresee that happening. And talking of MIM, it's a peripheral party. It's on the sidelines. And whether it's Yogi ji or whether it's Amit Shah ji or Modi ji, out of 1 hour of their speech, probably they would have given 1 minute, but it makes a headline because they retort with rabid statements like what you have seen right now, which you could not even play. So what they want is eyeballs, and what they want is divisive politics. And even by doing this kind of rabid politics, they still don't have Muslim vote, because because if they had, they would have crossed the perimeter of Hyderabad. For 45 years, they haven't crossed the perimeter of Hyderabad because that is the criminal empire. They have just set it up, and it has
on
nothing.
the last part of the broadcast of the political stock exchange, the impact of the social schemes of Chandrashekar Rao, the Chief Minister. Several social schemes, many of which successful. The scheme of pension for those above the age of 60, the scheme which promises 4,000 rupee per acre of crop, a sheep program, a loan waiver program. These are very, very popular schemes, some of them. And I want to ask Sandeep Shastri this question. If KCR were to do well on the 7th of December, how much of the contribution would be of these social schemes? He's opening up the treasury, giving voters all these doles in the hope that he'll strike gold when these voters go out to vote.
Rahul, all these social welfare schemes that you talked about, I think if the TRS does well in this election, it would definitely be an indication of the fact that these schemes have reached the people. At the end of the day, governance is about access. Governance is about accessibility. And of course, I also must make the point that let's not assume that one basket alone constitutes the support base for the party. This would be one key factor along with other key factors. Most important for me also is the fact about the Telangana pride. First election in the state after its formation, that factor is also important. But then I think these welfare schemes, and if people perceive them to have been implemented at the ground, then I think very clearly it would be an indication of the fact that these schemes have reached the people and people have given the green signal with regard to the importance of these schemes.
The last X factor, the impact of corruption charges against TRS leaders. This is something, remember, that hasn't been proven in any court of law, but this is a bar that's thrown often by the opposition, Manisha Priyam, that there's one family rule, that there is corruption, that a lot of the money in these social schemes and other projects is being pilfered. While nothing is proven and no one is in jail after a conviction, how much of a dent will these charges have on the fortunes of the TRS on the 7th of December?
See, one of those things that's not been discussed is the fact that, the TRS has also implemented very successfully a health scheme. While Chandrababu Naidu was known for his education scheme, KCR has been very careful to cultivate his image. And this health scheme has meant that the poor now have institutional deliveries, the health centers are up and running. It means, therefore, that the poor are talking about this, and corruption and family rule, etc., are not really issues that are being discussed by the people on the ground. I do have some inkling of how it's been going on in KCR, in KCR's rule and regime there. At this point of time, the poorest strata definitely, expressing satisfaction with the way they have been ruled. That, combined with the basket that's been spoken about earlier by Professor Sandeep Shastri, is something that seems to be, at this point, tilting the balance in favor of KCR. I haven't yet heard, although much noise is made about family politics, etc., and in Andhra politics, in Telangana politics, family plays a very important role. Everybody, whether it's a YRS or his son, Jagan Mohan Reddy, or the TDP now and Chandrababu, the people contesting. Remember Hari Krishna's daughter, she's also contesting here. So the families play a very important role, and that's something that Andhra and Telugu politics do not have any parhays with, and they do not mind families in politics.
Okay, so I'm going to end this political stock exchange right here. The broad picture really is that in September and in the early part of November, it seemed like the TRS was running away with this election and that there was no opposition in sight. The coming together of the Congress and the TDP has made things tighter, closer, not quite so much to go ahead of the TRS, but enough to make this a contest, which earlier wasn't so much the case, but now there is a battle, especially on seats where the TDP adds to the Congress's tally and vice versa. The battle will be tighter than KCR would have originally thought when he dissolved the assembly early. Manisha Priyam, Sandeep Shastri, and all our reporters and editors on the ground will track the Telangana election very, very closely. We'll be back tomorrow with, that's the last day of campaigning. Our reporters across the state covering every major speech, every major development on the ground. Nobody is covering these elections in quite the way that India today is. I want to thank all the political guests for joining us on this broadcast. Our coverage of Vote On, the battle for 2018, continues non-stop right here on India Today. Thank you for tuning in.
Thanks for watching the video. For more such news and updates, please like, share and subscribe to India Today. Also check out our other great videos from our channel. We know you would love to.